بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على المرسلين وعلى محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. We begin by saying all praise and all thanks be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we send our peace and blessings upon the Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam. I hope everybody is doing good today. Happy Thursday, everybody. SubhanAllah, another week almost passed. Last 10 nights now. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all make us from those who can witness Laylatul Qadr, inshallah, and make the most out of it and have him subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it from us. I hope all of you guys are doing well and enjoying Ramadan so far, bi'idhnillah. And today we're going to be continuing, guys, in our lecture about the 99 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I hope you guys have found it beneficial so far, and anything that was good that you benefit from, that is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and anything wrong that I said or any mistakes that I made, those are obviously only from myself. So I ask Allah to forgive me for that. With that said, today we're going to be going to the next name, guys, and this is Al-Barr. So this is one of the most amazing names of Allah. I think I say that about all of his names. You know, all of his names, subhanAllah, are amazing. So this is a special name because it's like, for me, again, this is my own interpretation. It's a motivational name. You know, it's a name that would motivate me to want to do this specific action because as a means of getting closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that name is Al-Barr. Al-Barr. What is Al-Barr? The physical, literal translation of it is the good. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the good one. He is the source of all goodness. Anything good is coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And He is the source of all good. He is the source of everything that is good that happens to us in our life. Anything good that you have, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the reason behind that. He is the source of it because He is Al-Barr. So why is that important? And why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to understand He is good? Goodness is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And inshallah, we're going to be discussing that today. And, you know, without any further ado, we're going to start with some verses from the Quran that Dr. Nabulsi, he tells us about. And after A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, the people will say, قالوا إِنَّا كُنَّا قَبْلُ فِي أَهْلِنَا مُشْفِقِينَ. They will say, indeed, we were previously among our people fearful of displeasing Allah. So people in Jannah, they're describing their situation to one another, right? They were saying, when we used to live in this life, we were so scared of disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, we were so fearful of getting His anger or getting His wrath or making Him displeased with us, right? فَمَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَيْنَا وَوَقَانَا عَذَابَ السَّعِيرِ. Because of that, because of our fear, because we respected Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we loved Him and we didn't want to disobey Him, we wanted to obey Him and we wanted to stay away from the things that He prohibited us from, you know, and we listened to Him to the best of our ability. فَمَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَيْنَا. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala conferred His favor upon us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gave us a huge bounty. He gave us a huge reward today, right? And what is this huge reward? What is the biggest reward, guys, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the first and foremost of the most amazing rewards that He gave us, right? فَوَقَانَ عَذَابَ السَّعِيرِ. He has protected us from the punishment of the scorching fire. So on that day, wallah, guys, when you read this verse, it's almost as if you're not even happy that you're in paradise. You're just happy that Allah saved you from that hellfire over there. Because every human being is going to see it. Every person is going to pass by. Everybody. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promises us in the Quran, every single human being, they're going to lay their eyes on the Jahannam, on the hellfire. Right? So they are so happy. They're not even saying, oh, thank God we're in paradise. No, they're saying, thank God. Allah gave us the best bounty. Allah gave us the best blessing. فَمَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَيْنَا وَوَقَانَ عَذَابَ السَّعِيرِ. He just protected us from that. He did not allow us to enter that. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to be protected from the hellfire and make it haram for all of us. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Why did they do that? So number one is they used to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They said we were living in this life, in this dunya, we used to fear Him. We used to be really, really concerned about disobeying Him. We had taqwa. You know, we were always conscious. We were always thinking about Him. If this is going to displease Him, I'm going to try to stay away from it. As a result, He protects us from it. And what else did they used to do? Inna kunna. So then the people are like, okay, so you used to fear Allah. Did you do anything else? Inna kunna min qablu nad'u innahu huwal barrur rahim. We used to also always supplicate to Him. We used to always pray to Him. Indeed, it is He who is Al-Bar Ar-Rahim. He is the one who is the source of goodness. He is the one who is the most merciful. So, meaning what? Oh my God, all those du'as that I feel like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't give me, He was actually listening to them all of this time. He was maybe either saving them, or He gave them to me, He prevented something bad from happening to me, or He even gave me what I asked Him for. Yes, they're saying, indeed, we used to supplicate to Him before. You know, guys, wallahi, it's one of the most amazing things in the Quran. Sometimes you see a prophet asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for something, like, a son or something, like even Ibrahim alayhi salam, right? He's asking Allah for a son, asking Allah for a son. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives him the son, he can't believe it. He reached old age, or Zakaria, he reached really old age. His wife is barren. They're in all of this, logically, it doesn't make sense for them to have kids, right? But then when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gives them something, it's almost as if like, oh, well, we knew Allah was going to give us that. It's sometimes it's hard for us to believe, right? Sometimes it's hard for us to wrap our head around all of it. But we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exists. And then He proves that to us. So when sometimes we ask Him for something, and there are going to be specific things in your life that I'm sure everybody's going to have gone through this at least once, that you're going to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for something that's, no other human being could have given you this. No, it's not physically possible, because you already tried all the doors. You already tried knocking on all the doors. You did everything that you could, and you still weren't able to get it. And then subhanAllah, all of a sudden things end up just happening, and things happen that you would have never thought, and they just fall into place, and then you end up getting whatever it is that you were asking for. And then you reach that conclusion, you feel that ease in your heart, like, wow, like Allah puts that message inside of you, like, you know what, this is really from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that this was from my dua, this was from me asking Him. And He proves to us that subhanAllah, He exists, He is listening, and He is Al-Bar, He is the one who is the source of goodness. He wants to make you happy. He wants to give you what you are asking for, but just ask Him. Inna kunna min qablu nad'u. Allah is telling you the secret. If you want goodness, right? He's using His name Al-Bar. He is the source of goodness. So if you want goodness, if you want good things to happen in your life, inna kunna min qablu nad'u. Ask Him, pray to Him, call out to Him. He will give it to you, inshallah, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He also says, أَتَأْمُرُونَ النَّاسَ بِالْبِرِّ وَتَنْسَوْنَ أَنفُسُكُمْ وَأَنْتُمْ تَتْلُونَ الْكِتَابَ أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, do you order? Now before that, we get into goodness. And this is something that Dr. Nabulsi was talking about, guys, and he's saying, yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the source of goodness. What about you? Guys, remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, هَلْ جَزَاءُ الْإِحْسَانِ إِلَّا الْإِحْسَانِ. Is there a reward for good other than good? Meaning what? If you come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you are not living a good life, then don't expect goodness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we talked about that in a previous video. If you're doing a lot of wrong things and Allah is giving you everything that you want, Allah is making your life a good life, then wallahi, it's very dangerous, because that means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He does not care about you. If you're living the wrong way and you feel like everything in your life is going great, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He does not really care about you anymore. He's just giving you, and whatever happens to you happens to you. He's going to, in 1 second, take everything away from you, and then it's too late, right? But if you're living a life that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to bring you back to Him, or you're even a good person and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you tests, then know that this is a means of getting closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because we talked about it. If somebody is giving you false promises and somebody's just making you hear whatever you want to hear, and then at the end you wake up and you realize all of that was fake, just like the shaitan. We literally talked about that a few days ago. The shaitan says, don't blame me today. I used to only just whisper to you in your ear. Yes, I told you go to that club. Yes, I told you go out on a date with that person. Yes, I told you go drink this. Yes, I told you go smoke that. But then on that day of judgment, He's like, I didn't force you to do it. I just told you. Don't blame me this day. Don't even associate me with you. I have nothing to do with you. And this is the like, wallahi, guys, this is the worst, could be the worst slap in the face for anybody. I was literally watching CNN this morning, and they're putting people on trial now for the hydrochloroquine, right? Because they're saying that you guys rushed it, you gave it to patients too quickly, patients are getting sick from it, and then they're saying, well, Trump put a lot of pressure on us, right? Now they're holding everybody accountable. And in my head, I was like, subhanAllah, like, A couple of weeks ago, they were begging people to just push this drug out just so they can try it, they can test it, they can see if people would respond to it. And now that there's adverse effects, everybody's removing blame from themselves. Oh, I didn't break the laws. I didn't go against basically the rules that we have to follow before we release a drug. Everybody's trying to remove themselves from the blame. Nobody wants to take blame, you know? And this is the nature of it, is that when you're about to do something wrong, everybody's supporting you. Yeah, do it. Yeah, go rob a bank. Yeah, go do, yeah, let's go party. But when things go bad, when things go wrong, everybody's like, oh, I didn't say that. I didn't tell you to do that. This is not financial advice. I did. I'm not your attorney. I'm not your accountant, right? When things go bad, everybody runs away. Subhanallah. So this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us from the beginning, why are you relying on all of these people? When one thing goes wrong, they're going to be the first ones to flee. Rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the source of all goodness. And He is the one who is giving you the secret recipe on how to live a perfect life, right? We talked about it. Allama al-Quran, khalaqa al-insan. In previous videos, He's the one who taught the Quran and created man. Yes, He taught the Quran before creating man. He built your blueprint. He built your life. He built your entire roadmap so that when you come into existence, you know how you should navigate through this life. Right? So He says, أَتَأْمُرُونَ النَّاسَ بِالْبِرِّ وَتَنْسَوْنَ أَنفُسَكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, do you call people to righteousness? Do you call people to goodness and you forget about yourself? So Dr. Nabulsi is saying, before you even can reach this name and before you can even communicate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this level, be a good person yourself. Understand that every single thing that you do in this life is going to, have an impact on whether this name can be applicable to you or not. Whether Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will respond to you when you come out with this name or not. Are you good to your family? Are you good to the non-Muslims around you? When people see you, you're a Muslim, right? And they're not Muslims, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never ever tells us in the Quran, go and fight people because they have different ideas or different beliefs. Never. Never. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says He gives the believer and He gives the disbeliever, right? It's not up to us our message is just to relate to them the message. Be nice to them, smile in their face, right? Treat them with respect, be honest at work, be ethical, help them out when they need help, be there for them, right? That's your duty as a Muslim. It's not your duty to do anything else, right? But if you're somebody who's nasty with all of their colleagues at work, you're somebody who's nasty with your friends at school, you're somebody who's nasty with your kids at home, you're nasty with your wife, or you're nasty with your spouse, you're nasty in your relationships with people, right? How can you call upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask Him for goodness? It's just common sense, If you do not show kindness to people, how do you expect anybody to follow our message, right? SubhanAllah, guys, no matter what they say about Islam, right? They try to portray us in this really bad series and there's really bad image. And I was listening to Omar Sulaiman talk about the angels. He has this really cool thing on angels online. And he was just talking about one of the videos I just recently saw yesterday. He was talking about how when they drew the Prophet ﷺ, when they portrayed him, they tried to depict him in those caricatures, people got really angry. So he's like, they did that on purpose so they can extract from you. They painted a barbaric man, right? This is the Islamic man in their head. This is the image that they want to put out in our head, that the Islamic man, he's a barbaric person, he's a rough person, he's an aggressive person. All of these, humiliating and untrue things, right? To get a reaction out of you, so that when you go out and you start cursing them, when you go out and you start getting angry and right, they say, see, exactly, that you see how barbaric you are, you see how nasty you are. Why are you? I thought you were a religion of peace. I thought your prophet said don't curse. I thought your prophet said don't say bad words. Why are you cursing me out? What? So we set ourselves to fall up in our own traps. The Prophet ﷺ, guys, wallahi, one time I don't have the hadith on me, but I remember hearing that he was sitting one time in an engagement, and somebody was talking very bad. I'm not sure if it was about him or about somebody else, and there was other companions sitting there, and the Prophet just stayed silent. He didn't respond to them. And then after a specific while, when these companions, they kept hearing that the Prophet was being attacked, they got angry and they started fighting and they started yelling. Then the Prophet ﷺ got up and left. And they went up to the Prophet and they're like, like the companions, they ran after him. Oh, Prophet, did you get upset that we were defending you? Did you get upset that we were fighting for you? And he said, no, but there was angels that you didn't see fighting on my behalf. Everything that they were saying, all of the bad words that they were saying, the angels were defending me on my behalf. The second that you opened your mouth, the second that you started being nasty, or the second that you started responding to somebody, the angels, they left. and then the shayateen came in. So I didn't want to be in the presence of shayateen. So I got up and left. Meaning what, guys? When you're saying good words, when you're defending the Prophet, when you're defending Islam, when you're standing up for truth, when you're standing up for righteousness, the angels will come around you and they will support you, right? The second you start cursing, the second you start being nasty, the second you start losing your cool, the angels leave and then the shayateen come because they want to add fuel to that fire. They want you to keep cursing. They want you to keep being nasty. They want you to keep showing that bad side of you. They want you to keep getting sins. So then the Prophet's like, I could not be in the presence of shayateen. So it's really important, guys, to understand that everything that you say, everything that you do, literally creates that environment around you. You want to create an environment that, inshallah, we're constantly in the surroundings of angels, right? Not in the surroundings of shayateen. So really important to understand that. And this is how it relates back to Allah Ta'ala's name as Al-Bar. You want goodness? Be a source of goodness. It's really that simple. Now, how many times did we see stories of people, and okay, what's an example of that? You know, we all know the famous story of the lady that used to throw garbage on the Prophet. Every single day she would throw garbage in his path, right? Until one day we know that he leaves his house and he doesn't see the garbage. So he starts asking, what happened to her? Is she okay? So subhanAllah, he goes to her house to check up on her. She thought he was there to kill her. He's like, no, she's like, oh, he's here today to take his revenge on me. I've been doing it for all these years. He's here today to kill me. He was just there to check up on her. And because of that, she became humbled and she became so regretful that she ended up embracing Islam. So, guys, this is something that we all have to put in. I'm telling myself this first and foremost. Goodness brings more goodness, right? Evil and bad only brings more bad. You know, always, and again, it goes back to what we've been talking about every day. Always have positive thoughts. Always have positive intentions. Always have good outlook on life. Don't always be grim and dull and everything is gloomy and doomy. It's not. Things are not gloomy and doomy. Wallahi, it's really not. You know, so always look for the goodness. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, لن تنالوا البر حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, you will never attain good except until you spend in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from that of which you love. وَمَا تُنْفِقُوا مِنْ شَيْءٍ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ بِهِ عَلِيمٌ. And whatever you spend, indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he knows of it. So when you're giving up something good, in this specific scenario, when you're spending, when you want to give somebody a sadaqah, when you want to give somebody money, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, it's not enough that you just give something. It's not enough that you go in your closet and you donate the shirt that you don't even like to wear to the orphans, right? Or it's not enough that when you give somebody a charity, you give him a nickel that's in your pocket, right? You give him from the best of what you have. The same way that what you would want for yourself, you go into your closet and you're like, you know what? I love this shirt. This is my favorite shirt. I haven't even wore it yet. I bought this pair of shoes. They're the Jordan 2K whatever, right? They're limited edition. There's only one of one in the entire universe. That's what I'm going to give away, right? If you can reach that level, all of us, if we can reach that level, that whatever we give from whatever. If I love money the most, you have to ask yourself, what do I love the most? For some people, giving money is not a big deal. It's easy for them to give money. But you know what? For some people, maybe giving their time, you know, like going and helping and for example, participating in a food drive or participating in like whatever like whatever good event, that might be really hard for them. That's what you should give up. Yes, of course you should give up money. Yes, of course you should give up all those things. But from whatever you really love, whatever is really hard for you to give up, when you give that up for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is when you will attain that level of birr, right? لن تنالوا البر. That's when you will reach that level of birr, goodness in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not big whenever, if it's something is easy for you, like, yeah, I give him a nickel. Right? But if you have $5 and you give $2 or you give $3 or you even give all $5 and that was a big deal for you, that's how you know I've reached that level of birr with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah. And remember, guys, in this life, we already talked about it. The disbelievers, wallahi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will give them. And the believers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will give them too, wallahi. Everybody is going to get a piece of this life. Everybody is going to get a piece of this life, right? The hereafter, and that's what we've been trying to emphasize, that's a different story. That's a different ballgame. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to focus on the real reward. He's saying, guys, this life is so fleeting. This is nothing. Well, like when you hear the verses in the Quran, Allah Ta'ala says, the hayat al-dunya is just la'ibun wa lahu. It just play and desire. It's as if Allah Ta'ala is saying, this is nothing but a video game. Literally, it's a video game that's about to end very soon. How can you trade that for eternal happiness? How can you trade that for eternal goodness? He's telling you he is the source of goodness, and he has something in store for us that no eye has ever seen, no ear has ever heard. It has not even come to any heart of any human being. Yet, subhanAllah, every single day, we all of us, me the first one, right? We make decisions that are wrong. We make decisions that we shouldn't be making. We fall off of the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah, Allah gave us another day, another chance to come back to Him, to repent. The last 10 nights, so many opportunities to come back. Inna kunna min qablu nad'uhu innahu huwa al-barru rahim. Indeed, we used to supplicate to Him before. Indeed, He is the one who is the most, He is the source of good. He is the merciful. And this is what we're going to end with, guys. There's a very long passage in Surah Al-Baqarah, and I'm going to translate it for you guys. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَيْسَ الْبِرَّ أَن تَوَلُّوا وُجُوهَكُمْ قَبْلُ الْمَشْرِقِ أو المغرب. So Allah Ta'ala, righteousness is not that. So Dr. Naborsi said something amazing about this, guys. Because I used to always hear this verse and I didn't really think of it like this. He says, Allah Ta'ala says, righteousness is not that you turn your faces towards the east or west. Right? Meaning, Dr. Naborsi was like, Allah is telling you, righteousness is not that you're praying. When you pray, is the one who believes in Allah. When you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that means what? Believing in Allah, guys, is not a blanket statement. Oh, I believe in Allah. No. It doesn't work like that. Believing in Allah means I have to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in everything that He commands me to do. When He tells me to be nice to people, I have to be nice to people. Respectful. When He tells me I have to avoid doing this and I have to avoid doing that and I have to do this, then I have to do those things. Right? So He says, true righteousness is the one who believes in Allah, the last day, the angels, the book, and the prophets. And guys, this spell was amazing. And gives wealth, right? So he says, ليس البر أن تولوا وجوهكم قبل المشرق أو المغرب ولكن البر من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر والملائكة والكتاب والنبيين وآتى المال على حبه ذوى القربى واليتامى. So I'm sorry, guys. Obviously, my Arabic, I'm still learning, and so for everybody who's still learning too, alhamdulillah, it's a struggle. We all struggle with everything, right? As long as we don't give up. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, the true righteousness is the one who believes in Allah, the last day, the angels, the book, the prophets, and gives wealth. This is what I wanted to say, right? Al-mala. So, and gives wealth in spite of love for it. So even though he loves his wealth, even though we all love money, I know all of you guys want to buy that 2020 new Ferrari that just came out. I know that, right? But you're like, you know what? I can live without the Ferrari in this life. Even though if I have the money for it, you know what? I'd rather go and I would rather maybe build an orphanage somewhere. I would rather go build a hospital somewhere. I'd rather go do something that's actually going to be beneficial for me somewhere, right? So Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says, the one who gives wealth in spite of love for it to relatives, orphans, the needy, the traveler, and those who ask for help, and for freeing slaves. And then who else? Who else is righteousness? Who else is attaining birr? And the one who establishes prayer and gives zakah. Those who fulfill their promise when they promise, and those who are patient in poverty and hardship and during battle. Those are the ones who have been true, and it is those who are the righteous. Right? So guys, something very important. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the beginning of the verse, He's talking about the one who gives his wealth in spite of love for it. And then towards the end, He's saying establishes prayer and ata zakah and gives zakah. Wait, I thought giving wealth was giving zakah. Dr. Nabosi said, no. Zakah is obligatory. You have to give your percentage, your 2.5% of zakah every single year. That's an obligation. That's one of the fara'id. You have to, right? However, the one who gives wealth, and look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said the one who gives wealth out of love for it. So after he gave his zakah, after he gave his 2.5%, he's like, I'm good. I don't have to give anything else. I did the bare minimum. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, this is not the level that I want you to be at. You want to reach goodness, you want to reach high ranks with me, you want to reach a high level with me, then you also give from your wealth, even though you love it, which is called sadaqah. So when you give up something that's hard, when you're nice to that person, even though you hate him, right? And he pisses you off at work, or she pisses you off at work, and you can't stand them, but you know what? I'm going to be nice to that person for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm going to be nice to that person because I want the angels to be around me. I'm going to be nice to that person because maybe one day, even though they're a nasty person, even though they don't deserve me to be nice, I'm going to humble myself before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I'm going to be nice with that person. Maybe it can be da'wah. Maybe I can use it on the day of judgment to say, Ya Allah, this person like drove me to my absolute max, but I'm still going to be respectful with them because I wanted to attain this level of birr. Rabbi, wallahi, I love money so much. I don't even want to give anybody a single dollar. But you know what? I gave up all of my money, or I gave up a lot of my money to sponsor orphans, even though I can't control it. God, it's something in my heart. I love it so much. But you know what? I'm going to force myself to give it up for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you can apply that to every example, guys. Whatever you love, whatever is dear to you, try to give up. I'm not saying give it all up. If money is really dear to you, give up a good amount of money that you've never given up before this year for the sake of Allah, and see what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to do for you. If your time is what's really important, give up some of your time for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala this year and see what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to do for you. And again, you are dealing with Akramul Akrameen. You are dealing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are dealing with the most generous. When you're doing that, enter that with that intention. And understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tells you, Hal jaza'ul ihsan illa al-ihsan. Is there a reward for good other than good? And that's what I'm going to leave you guys with. Is there a reward for good other than good? We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from those who hear the best of speech and follow it. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from those who can reach this level of birr and make us with Him. إنه هو البر الرحيم وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله. I'll see you guys tomorrow inshallah.